Hello and welcome to another edition of Chartwise Women. My name's Erin Swenlin from decisionpoint.com, and I am here with my friend and cohort, Ellen McGonagle. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really quite well. Yes, it's lovely fall weather here in Los Angeles. The heat's receding, and I just came back from a lovely weekend wine tasting in
Oh,
Paso Robles, and it was very, very magical.
yes.
Up the coast a bit from here, where I am in Los Angeles, but still basking in the glow.
Oh, yeah, anybody who knows me is I love my wine. I have
Mm.
subscribers constantly saying, all right, you stopped for your wine a little too early. That last sentence didn't make sense. But
Oh,
yes,
it's
I do
as we
love my
always
wine
say,
tasting.
it's always happy hour somewhere, right?
Exactly. So things have been really exciting lately in the markets, to the good and to the bad. What's really exciting you right now about trading? I mean, what gets you going in the morning?
Oh gosh, for me, I am all about looking for those turnarounds. I'm really motivated to just be on the lookout for some of these stocks that have really taken a beating, and I'm looking for a return. Money flows back in to pick up and be able to take advantage of some downtrend reversals. So that's kind of getting me out of bed.
Yes, exactly. No, and today our anchor point is going to be all about motivation. So we're going to talk to you a little bit right now about what gets us excited to get up in the morning. And Mary Ellen, you've kind of already alluded to that.
Hmm.
For me, I always say that I'm very fortunate to do something that I absolutely love. Not everybody's going to love investing. Not everybody's going to get excited about investing necessarily, but we want to talk to you about what does excite us and why we like to sit here and look at those computer screens and all of those charts. Because, for me, yes, I got to get the coffee. I got to get myself motivated to get out of bed and do all those same things everybody else does. But ultimately, when I do sit down at my desk and I start looking at all of these various charts and what's going on in the market, that excitement feeds my motivation, if you will. As always, we want to bridge the gap so that you can come over that bridge or whatever it is with the obstacles that are below you, to come over that bridge. We're reaching our hand out to you, and we want to just bring you across to us where we're already kind of in that position of being a confident investor, being a veteran. You're not going to get to have all of the years of experiences that we do, unless, of course, you're getting started much younger, which we do hope you are doing, because there's plenty of room in this business for more women and men as well. So today our anchor point is going to be all about motivation. So what we'll talk about is, what motivates us, what can and will motivate you as well. So, but before we get into really the deep dive into some of that motivational work, I think we should talk about what's motivating the markets right now. What's going on in the markets that's newsworthy? And Mary Ellen, I always pass it to you. You always have your finger on
Absolutely.
the pulse of what's going on in the market in general,
You
fundamentally
bet.
and technically.
Yeah, there are a couple of factors really impacting the markets right now, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because the one item that is up there front and center is interest rates. And interest rates, for those of you not fully tuned in, or maybe you're not aware, when interest rates rise, two things can occur. One is it can negatively impact growth stocks because growth stocks, their future growth is going to be lowered with these higher interest rates and also inflationary fears. So we have a couple of really impactful factors taking place. And this week in particular, we have received inflationary news. Earlier in the week, we did see the consumer price index came in. It remains elevated. It's at a 5% level. That's high. And that high inflation should normally lead to higher interest rates. We're looking at the yield on the 10-year Treasury. And the Treasury yield did peak back here at the end of March. This is a period when growth stocks struggled, but we had a deterioration or a lowering of interest rates. More recently, those inflation fears pushed it up, but today, this week, the Fed came out, the Federal Reserve, lots of little cross currents here, and they are going to be stopping their bond buying program. It's called tapering, and that is anticipated to impact interest rates as well. So we can see rates are pulling back from these elevated levels, and we are seeing a move into select areas of growth, and we're going to get into that as we move on. So.
Excellent. Yes, we always have our ear listening for what's going to happen from the FOMC.
Mhm.
And yes, the problem we've been looking at is what is the Fed supposed to do right now? Because, the markets are now starting to see a little bit of shakiness, kind of toppy action. And, when the Fed lowers those rates, that tends to bring that money into the market, as you're saying, in those growth areas. So, we really do want to have our finger on the pulse, because if those rates end up being lowered, as you said, that is going to help those growth areas of the market. What are you thinking, though, when you look at this chart about where interest rates might be going?
Yeah, so interest rates certainly going into earlier in the week, we can see that they were very clearly on the rise. And this area back here, this high interest rate back here at the end of March, was one that a lot of experts were really keeping an eye on. We did not want to surpass this 1.7 level, and we were inching up closer. We were at 1.6 before rates started to come back a little here, but actually the Fed tapering will raise interest rates because they will be reducing their bond buying activity. So, but in the end of the day, this interest rate area is really impacting uh, a lot of uh, a lot of areas. It's
Right.
worth keeping an eye on for sure.
Yep, they keep saying the Fed's between a rock and a hard place. If they
Hmm.
taper and those rates start to go higher, as we see, that can really impact the market in a bad way. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle this as we move forward into the end of the year, for sure.
You bet.
But let's get back to our topic of motivation. And Mary Ellen, I know you brought some charts. And again, we talk about what excites us about the market. And of course, we are chart-wise women. So of course, charts are going to excite us. And we want to hopefully impart some of that excitement and motivate you to start wanting to look at some of these charts, because boy, they are the maps to get you to where you want to be.
Oh, you bet. Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and hopefully I'm still sharing my screen
Yes,
here.
I see it beautifully.
Wonderful. Yes. So, as far as getting excited, I talked about that concept of buying the pullback. Now, I do want to have the broader markets in a healthy position. We are not quite there yet, unfortunately. But as far as getting excited, this is a chart of the tech software ETF. And I wanted to point out this is, I mentioned when interest rates were rising back to that 1.7, the 10-year yield, this area did get hit hard. This is a growth area. Software stocks are high growers, but I'm on the lookout for a reversal of that downtrend, which back here in May, my MEM Edge report subscribers will know we were all over this. We captured some wonderful big winners in here, Adobe and others among them. So looking at IGV, this software ETF right now, we can see today with the lowered interest rates, we are seeing it breaking above resistance. So we could potentially be in the beginning stages of a downtrend reversal. You want to look at your outside momentum. The RSI up here turned positive today. That's good news. And then your moving average convergence divergence, another momentum indicator, black line up through the red, and that is quite constructive. Again, I would ideally want that broader market to be also in an uptrend, but this is very motivating to me. I have a number of stocks, 6 software stocks, high growth, high quality on my watch list that, again, subscribers have been alerted to. So this is exciting. And then from here, I can just share one of the names very quickly. Within the software group, there are 300 software stocks out there. So you want to make sure you get the right one. This is CrowdStrike, a computer software security name. And take a look, very similar to the broader group. We can see it's breaking above resistance, nice volume. And we can also see that same bullish crossover. So this is front and center on my watch list as a potential outperformer.
Excellent. Yes, these are the kind of charts that do get us excited and do get us motivated to move and look for more. Look for that treasure, those treasure maps, as we've often called them. And I was noticing the same thing, that we were finally starting to see a little bit more relative strength in the software area. And of course, technology is one of the leadership sectors for the markets. And so seeing that move to the upside for that group, the software group, as you said, there are lots of stocks out there, and there are certainly some really great ones to look at. And there you go. There's your technology chart right there.
Not quite ready for prime time, which is.
Yeah, the NASDAQ is really started, really not doing well, but seeing something like software breaking out is pretty exciting, I have to say.
You bet.
Well, one of the areas, and I'm going to share my screen just a moment here. So for me, looking at the treasure maps, trying to find that treasure, that is what gets me out of bed in the morning. That is what gets me diving into these charts. And I always start pretty much with a view of what the sectors look like right now. And that can also give you an idea of how the market is, feeling about things, if you will. Right now, we're seeing a lot of momentum that has started to pour into the staples area, which is defensive. We already know energy is just flying. At this point, I don't really see much of a pullback coming with energy. I do think energy still looks good. Materials and industrials are also starting to come out of the woodwork here, but I'm not overly concerned because, as far as those defensive sectors go, because now we're starting to see some movement in an aggressive growth sector like consumer discretionary. So that's a good sign, and it's getting ready to hit this overhead resistance. So we'll have to see what happens there. But I've been concentrating a lot on materials. And if you recall from last week, I brought to the table, I talked about gold miners, and I left a link for everybody to get to my free article on the top 3 gold miners that I really like. And so here's one of them. And it's really breaking out. So I brought it to the table to all of you and for free on our last Thursday's show. So that puts us back here close to where I picked it, just below the 50-day EMA. But we had this beautiful falling wedge pattern. I love chart patterns. And now we've gotten a breakout above not only the 20 and 50, but now the 200. And this is Gold Fields. This is one of the gold miners that I did talk about in that article last week for you. And I bring all these different charts to the table for my Decision Point Diamonds readers. And this, again, was one that I presented to them. And then the next day I presented to everybody after this additional breakout. But the other area that I've been watching are materials and rare earth materials in particular. Uranium, I brought this one to the table for my subscribers back in late August, early September. And I always list a stop level. That's what these percentages are. I don't like to present a chart to my subscribers without telling them, all right, this is the line in the sand. You really don't want to see price go below this. And you can see that uranium did have a really nice move out of that pick, but it pulled back very aggressively. But it managed to stay above that all-important 50-day moving average that we talk about, Mary Ellen. And now it has turned up and has bounced. The last 2 days have been spectacular. Full disclosure, I do own this particular ETF, so that's why the smile is on my face. And again, this is what motivates me, finding those treasures in something like this. Uranium still, I'm telling you, I think uranium still looks good. You've got, got everything moving up. I think that looks fantastic. And then we have the other one that's kind of on my radar. I haven't actually brought it to my subscribers in chart form. I have mentioned it to them, and that is palladium. This is a material like gold, silver. This one has been beat down, really beat down. And I've been watching it because you can't even see it on here where the support level is. So you have to actually look at it on a weekly chart, but you can see that it's bouncing off some really important, strong support, I would say, at this point. And now we're getting that reversal. You can see momentum on this weekly chart is turning up. So palladium's sort of that out there. I'm not giving it my full seal of approval right now, but this is a map, a treasure map that I'm watching and might just present to subscribers very soon. So that is what I'm looking at, and that's what's getting me really excited. But I think we should go ahead and move to a break, and we will come back and we're going to talk a little bit more about the motivation factor and what motivates us and what we think might be able to motivate you to get started.
What if you could look beyond price and identify big moves in the market before they happen? That's why we created the Moxie Indicator Minutes. Hosted by me, T.G. Watkins of Simpler Trading, the creator of the Moxie Indicator. Each week, I'll provide you details about the indicator, what it does, and how it can work for you. Only on StockCharts TV.
All right, we are back from our break here with Chartwise Women. Today, our anchor point is all about motivation and getting yourself motivated to take that first step and get involved in trading, or if you are a current investor, to keep you sticking with it, even if you maybe are having some struggles with the way the market has been acting. So we're going to talk a little bit more about what you can do, our wisdom as far as motivation. And Marielle, I'm going to hand it over to you and tell us what you're thinking about.
Yeah, you bet. So my wisdom of the week, given this week's theme, if you will, or anchor point, is all about motivation. And in essence, motivation is what propels us to succeed. We talked about it gets you out of bed in the morning. You want to see that stock that's going to explode, outperform, but each of us is going to have our various different motivation points.
You're absolutely right. Motivation is what's going to make you succeed. You have to be motivated to do whatever it is you're doing with your job, cooking dinner. I need to get myself motivated to cook dinner, simple things like that. So one of the things that I was talking about for what my wisdom of the week is, actually I brought a quote that I hope is motivating, especially for our newer watchers or newer investors. So I have this quote, and it's by Herb Brooks, and he was the coach of the Miracle on Ice hockey team. Anybody who knows me knows that my favorite sport is hockey. I absolutely adore hockey. Ducks, go Ducks. Anyway, his quote was that you were born to be a player. You were meant to be here. This moment is yours. And that's exactly how I feel when I talk to new investors, when I talk to people who are like, there's just no way, you're so smart. How do you know, I can't ever be that way. How am I going to ever? And my whole thing to them is say, whoa, wait. No, you can do this. You don't have to do it to the degree I do it, but by listening and reading our materials, you can do this. You belong here. And to be perfectly honest, you need to be here. That's why we're here to help you, because investing is a really important part of your financial freedom, your financial health. So that is my motivational wisdom of the week, is just remember that you can do this, and that honestly, you belong here with us. You're watching it and you're already here with us. So you are a member of this investing crowd, if you will. So let us go ahead and talk about action plans. And I'm going to go ahead and do mine first, if you don't mind, Mary Ellen, and
Go
then
right ahead. Yeah.
into yours. But here is something that you can think about as far as an action plan. So if you are a new investor right now, here's my action plan for you. Very simple step. So first of all, Martin Luther King said you don't need to see the whole staircase. You just need to take the first step. So what I would suggest, if you are brand new to this and you're watching this, and you can be, 18 years old or whatever it is, youth, you can be a widower, you can be, whatever you are, new investor. What I would recommend is to go ahead and open an account. It doesn't have to be a big, Schwab or whatever it is, Fidelity. You can get one of those apps, and I'm not going to promote any app, but the beauty of those, and my daughters have done this, and they're much younger, and they've opened accounts, and you can do it with very little money. But take that first step and just open it. You don't have to invest in anything, but just take that first step and know, yeah, I'm doing this. I'm going to do this. I'm setting the ground. And then if you are a current investor and you're discouraged, what I would say your action plan is to write down your best investment, that investment that you were like, man, I timed it perfectly. And I want you to write that down and then revel in how that success felt. Just feel all of the good feelings that when you made that investment, it made you feel. And that should hopefully help you and get motivated to learn more and to make those investments always make you feel that way. And I will say that golfers, if you recall, the one thing that keeps them going is they have that one swing, that one hole that they played that was amazing, and they don't get discouraged. They hang their hat on that success, and that's why they keep golfing and slicing and missing the tee, so you just need that one thing to remind you. And so, Mary Ellen, I think that really goes well into what your action plan is.
Yeah, absolutely. So my action plan as it relates to getting you motivated to be involved with investing and to benefit from it is to take 10 minutes of your time. It can be this evening, anytime that you are perhaps in a waiting room, and really give some thought to a goal that successful investing could lead you toward. Get that. It can be more than one goal. It could be perhaps a vacation, a wonderful retirement, and write that down. Write that one or several goals down. And what I've found to be very, very impactful, and this is from several famous authors, is when you write that down, carry that with you, carry that goal with you. Look at it, examine it on a regular basis, remind yourself of what you're going for. And that motivation in turn should lead you to continue educating yourself, continue to get involved, as Erin suggested. And for any of you watching on YouTube, I urge you to please write that goal down below. Share that goal, write it down in the comments section. Again, write it on a piece of paper and carry it with you. But again, all with an eye toward helping you be motivated.
Absolutely. Yes, definitely share if you are watching this on YouTube. And I think that could also motivate other people. Maybe they didn't think about, oh, that's right, I could have new furniture on my patio. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything, wild and big, but write it down. I think it might give others ideas of, what they could think about doing and how a small investment account, a small investment could lead to getting you just that simple thing of getting the rental car so that you can go to the Grand Canyon, which is one of the things I was able to do with my account when I had some good investments. So it was like, boom, I was able to take care of my rental car and my hotel for my little vacation. So definitely do that. But believe it or not, it is actually time to close the show. But before we do, we really should, I want you to tell everybody what you do, Mary Ellen, and how they can find you. And I'll let everybody know as well, but you go ahead and tell them.
Yeah, you bet. So you can find out more about my work at my website, meminvestmentresearch.com. One of my primary ways of educating investors is with my MEM Edge report. It's a bi-weekly report that also covers the market in great detail, but more importantly, guides investors to stocks that are currently poised to outperform the markets. So there is a trial if you go to my MEM Investment Research website, and you can take advantage of that offer.
Absolutely. And I've seen your work. It's fabulous.
Thank you.
Definitely
Likewise.
can recommend Mary Ellen's service. I often do. One of the things that I do at decisionpoint.com is, and I've referenced this when we were showing charts, is a report called Decision Point Diamonds. And I find diamonds in the rough and I present them, 10 of them per week. But unlike Mary Ellen, I don't do that in a portfolio and follow up with them as we go along. Mine is more of a stock picking service, but I think for even the newbie, it's useful just to get these charts put in front of you. And the idea is not necessarily to tell you these are all going to be winners. It's more to tell you why the chart looks good and why I think it might be a winner moving forward. So decisionpoint.com, if you want to try out our Diamonds report, you can go ahead and subscribe. You can use the coupon code DP Trial. Subscribe to our bundle, and that'll get you a free week so you can try it out. But if you don't even want to go there, like I mentioned earlier, I had a report on Thursday last week in my free Decision Point blog. You can find that on StockCharts.com. You can find that free article on DecisionPoint.com in our blogs and links. Just to give you an idea of what we do. And I think that also will help you take those first steps, just so you can see kind of how it goes, what charts look good, and move on from there. But we should close it down.
Okay, yes. And those daily diamonds, everybody, be sure and get them in your inbox.
That's exactly right. So we really appreciate you joining us today for Chartwise Women. Mary Ellen, thank you for being here. And we will see you next week, where we'll have another very interesting anchor point to bring to your attention and more wisdoms of the week.
Hey guys, Dave Keller here with StockCharts.com. Thanks so much for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, and we hope you did, hit the like button right below. Also, we have so much new content every day. Consider subscribing to the channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the video or right below. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Have a fantastic day.